Good evening. I am Ahmed Mohammed Wangwa, the mill and boiler engineer in Bua Lafiagi Sugar Company, Kwara State, which is also known as Bua Lasuko. Uh, Tonight we're going to be discussing about the mill and boiler. But before that, we need to have a brief discussion about the source of the cane. The cane, which is cultivated in the farm or in the company plantation, was harvested after the maturity stage of the cane, when the sucrose level of the cane is high. Then the cane, harvested cane, is being kept into the cart, which convey the cane to the factory for the sugar production. On the arrival of the carts in the factory, the first place to go is to go to weigh bridge. That is where the cane weight will be determined. Then from there, the cart proceed to the cane unloading system, to the hilo. Hilo can unload it to the feeder table before getting to the cane carrier, or hilo in the other side can offload it so that the grabs we kept them together for the next operation. So the already unloaded K is feed into the feeder table, which convey the cane to the cane kicker area. After the cane kicker, then to the cane leveler, before the cutted cane get into the shredder or vaporizer. Then this shredder remove the fiber of the cane and discharge it into the mill through the bed conveyor. So the conveying belt has the magnetic separator on the top, which separate the foreign material or any iron that follow the cane from the cane yard or from the farm. So the cane undergo the milling, the first mill and the second mill juice, which is collected into the one tank, and in the mill 3, imbibition water was added for optimum juice extraction in mill 3 and mill 4, which the juice of mill 3 and mill 4 is being kept in the same tank as well. So from there we have the final bagasse to the boiler through the bagasse elevator, and we have our extracted juice for tanks, which will later transfer to the clarification area. Then this final product of bagasse go to the boiler for steam generation. Then this steam generation, we are talking about saturated steam that can be able to power the steam turbine to give us the required megawatt of electricity that we require to power the farm, the estate, and the factory itself. And the exhaust steam from the turbine is also transferred into various places. So in the case of Bua Lasuko, we have our 15 megawatt turbine, and we have our mill, which is also using steam turbine, as well as our shredder. So our superheated steam will be transferred to the 15 megawatt turbine and 4 mill, including the shredder. Then we are now coming back to the already extracted juice that we have. The extracted juice in the tanks is transferred into the clarification. In this clarifier, there is a lime added to it, and we have the bagasilo that go to the clarification area as well, which help the real clarification or totality clarification of the juice, and we have our press mode. Then from the clarification, the juice move to the evaporation. Then from the evaporation, the juice move to the vacuum pan, and from the vacuum pan to the crystallization, from the crystallization to the centrifugal, and from the centrifugal we have two products. We have the dry sugar and the molasses. So this molasses is transferred into the fermentation area, and after the fermentation of our molasses, we take it to the distillation. So in the process of distilling the fermented molasses, we have what we call a rectified spirit. So this exhaust steam that I just told you earlier, we transfer our exhaust steam to the juice treatment area in the clarification as well. Then we also transfer our exhaust steam from turbine to the multiple effect evaporator. We also transfer our exhaust steam to vacuum pan, and we also transfer our exhaust steam into the dryer. We transfer our exhaust steam into the ethanol. So I would like to be a little bit in detail about how we convert our extracted juice from the mill and to the clarification. First of all, we have the raw juice, which is added with the sulfur lime for the juice treatment. Then from this clarified juice, we have 14 to 16 bricks, which is transferred into the multiple effect evaporation. And from this multiple effect evaporation, the juice change into the syrup, which is 65 to 7 bricks, and is transferred to the evaporation in vacuum pan. In this evaporation in vacuum pan, the syrup is converted to the masket, which is 91 to 83 bricks, 91 to 83 bricks, which is transferred into the centrifugal. In this centrifugal, from this centrifugal, we have white sugar, and we have our molasses, final molasses. This final molasses is what we use to convert into the distillery ethanol plants. And this white sugar is kept into the dryer, which dried before we get the final dried white sugar. This is a little summary of the sugar industry that we will be talking about tonight. In our subsequent episode, we will talk more on detail on the boiler, steam generation, and milling, God willing. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel, Societal Freedom Fighters, or Ganasura Engineering Enterprise. Thank you for listening, and God bless you and your family. Thank you.